66,000 lives, and the nation grapples with sending children back to school. Tonight, Dr. Anthony Fauci is saying those temperature checks you see here aren't completely reliable. The American Academy of Pediatrics saying all children over the age of 2 should wear face coverings in group settings. ABC's Victor Oquendo with the decisions parents and schools are now facing.
Open schools! Open schools!
Across the country, growing calls for schools to open their classrooms. Today, Tampa area schools forced by the state to do just that or risk losing more than $200 million in funding. But for some schools that have already reopened, swift setbacks. At least 2,400 students and staff are quarantined across at least 6 states, half in Cherokee County, Georgia, after dozens tested positive for the virus. Students encouraged, but not required to wear masks.
I definitely still say give this a shot. I think there is a way to do this in person.
But some parents keeping their kids online.
It's just a little too scary right now. They're not mandating masks, which I think is a huge thing that can stop the spread of the virus.
As children go back to school and childcare settings, the American Academy of Pediatrics today recommending all children older than 2 wear masks, saying cloth face coverings should be part of their new normal, just like wearing seatbelts and bike helmets. Today, Georgia's governor promising new action after withdrawing his lawsuit against the city of Atlanta, which had its own mask mandate. The president again today pushing for schools to reopen.
We don't want the schools shut down. We want the schools to open, and especially very young children handle it. All children, but especially very young children handle it very well.
But Dr. Anthony Fauci says to reopen schools, communities need to keep infection rates under 10%. And as for those temperature checks, he says they're not a reliable screening tool, especially on a hot summer day.
It is much, much better to just question people when they come in and save the time because the temperatures are notoriously inaccurate many times.
For students learning online, school districts now scrambling to get kids computers they need.
Enough. This is an emergency. This is a crisis. We don't have time for it. These children need to be educated, and they need a device to get it done.
Here's your laptop.
Some parents worry online school just won't work.
They're not engaged anymore. It's very, very difficult when they're that young.
Sarah Furno, here in Hollywood, Florida, feels stuck.
I don't have the luxury of not going into work. My husband doesn't have the luxury of not going into work.
So many Americans just trying to keep their families safe. The virus infecting each member of the Gibbons family in Minnesota. Their 4-year-old had no symptoms, but their newborn was hospitalized for days.
He tested positive for COVID. And I was in absolute shock. Anytime that it's your child, it's heartbreaking.
Hard to see those images there. Victor joins us now from Miami Beach. And Victor, we got an update today on the race for a vaccine, Operation Warp Speed.
Tom, today the director of the National Institutes of Health said that it would be a, quote, miracle if one of the vaccines in phase 3 trials were to demonstrate an effective vaccine by the beginning of October. But some encouraging news here. We're still on track to have a readily available vaccine by the beginning of next year. Tom?
Victor Oquendo with that major update on the vaccine. Victor, thank you. Now to President